Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. When you hear the word chronically, you automatically associate it with chronic disease. We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, in our lives. Hi, everyone. I'm Andy, and joining me in everything is my life partner, Minna.
So let's talk about food today since we like to eat.
Yes, we
You
just
know,
celebrated our anniversary, and as foodies, we love to eat.
yeah, I mean, you like bread, pizza, all the bad. I like the pastas, the spaghetti, linguine, ravioli, lasagna. I'm like Garfield. I love it all.
But it's interesting because what we're hearing more and more is gluten sensitivity or gluten intolerance. And, more and more people are worried that they can't eat gluten anymore. But have you ever wondered when you're traveling and like to Italy, maybe to Greece or France, you can eat all the bread, all the crepes, all the pizza, all the spaghetti, and there's no problems.
You don't even have to go that far. Go to Mexico,
Exactly.
but don't go to
Seriously.
Canada. Canada is the same.
Right. And it's just very interesting because like everyone says it's the gluten. And you know, today we just want to break another myth. Maybe it's not the gluten. Maybe it has to do with the flour, with the wheat.
I mean, it's the gluten in the wheat. No,
Yes, the gluten in the wheat, or the problem with the North American wheat.
which is
Which is the North American wheat is heavily and chemically, genetically modified. So they basically have modified the wheat. And what they did is, like if you're getting flour or wheat from every other country next to Canada and US, they use the whole wheat germ. But in US, what they did is they took off the germ, they took off the bran, they basically stripped out all the nutrients and the fiber because they wanted to make the wheat flour more fluffy, right? And because everything is taken out of it, there's no more nutrients. They start adding back all these synthetic nutrients into it. And that's where a lot of problems start coming up with people, and they blame it on gluten sensitivity.
so. This has been going on for about 200 years.
Yeah, it's been going on for about 200 years.
So if you were a vampire, you probably would notice a difference between 200 years ago that, the wheat then is not the same as the wheat now.
Exactly, exactly. And, it goes down to genetics. Interesting enough, there's this gene called the MTHFR gene, and I call it something else, but I'm not going to say that on TV. But about 40 to 60% of North Americans in US and Canada, they have this gene, right? And when you have this gene, you have problem converting folic acid. And folic acid just happens to be one of those synthetic vitamins they add back into the US flour.
So what would it do if you don't have, you don't have that gene or you have the MTHFR mutation?
So if you don't have the gene, you can break down the folic acid, right? But if you don't have it, you can break it up. But if you do have this gene, you have problems breaking them down, and it's very hard to detoxify out your body. So a lot of times people may be getting, bloated, they feel tired, they get headaches, which is all the symptoms you hear when you're gluten sensitive.
Which is probably you. I think you get bloated.
Oh, big time. I get bloated, I fall asleep right after, right? And then on top of that, it even gets worse, right? They strip everything out. The flour is this ugly color. So now they bleach it, and they bleach it with chlorine gas. So now you got chlorine going into your flour. And then they have to enhance it to make it more fluffy, and they add potassium bromate, which is sort of known to cause cancer. And this is banned in other countries, which is really crazy, right? And the worst of all, what do you think they add in there, Minna?
Glyphosate, of course.
Exactly. They add glyphosate to speed up the drying. So, of course, it's just to speed up the drying so they can make more of this for more of the people to consume. But glyphosate is known to disrupt gut bacteria, is known to cause non-Hodgkin's cancer.
So when you're eating bread now, it's different from if you eat the same piece of bread 200 years ago. You don't have the nutrients. You're just getting all this bad stuff that doesn't do your body any good.
Exactly. And I just want to have one more dive in there. And for all the people that thinks they can't eat gluten, looking for things that say gluten-free isn't always good for you too, because now they're using all these refined starches like rice flour, cornstarch, tapioca flour, and they also use a lot of seed oils, which are really bad for you. And it's packed with all these additives, these flavors and preservatives to give you that weird fluffy texture and everything, for the bread, for their pasta and stuff like that. And basically there's no nutrients in these products, and it spikes your blood sugar. And then it can also cause inflammation, fatigue, and gut issues too. So like if you're gut sensitive, gluten sensitive, what we suggest, right? And this will change your life literally if you can eat back bread and pizza again.
Well, that would be if you can source the flour or the raw ingredient that is not from North America, like European flour or
exactly
South American flour, then you actually safe. You can be safe. Let me just take that out back, just in case you have celiac or something.
Yes,
that's deadly.
But like me and Minna, we found French bakeries that import flour from France. We gone to Italian restaurants that are importing flour literally from Italy, and we can eat their pizza, we can eat their pasta, we can eat their fresh baked breads, and there's no crash, there's no fatigue. It is just amazing enjoying these foods again like they're meant to be enjoyed.
And actually save you more money. I mean, if you go to like a store and look for gluten-free products, they cost more money than if you just buy like a regular pizza or something.
Oh, for sure, exactly. And like I said, my whenever people talk about gluten-free pizza, they found this perfect cauliflower pizza, and I always say, you cannot turn cauliflower into a pizza dough. I'm just sorry. Those are just all chemicals, binders, and additives that's giving you that pizza dough. So if you're going to go for a pizza, look for a place that is serving you a pizza. But of course, make sure it's not adulterated American flour.
And of course, anything that spikes your blood sugar is probably not good for you. I've been testing blood sugar all day long. It's because we had a really big meal yesterday, and it took me like almost 20 hours to drop me back down to like an acceptable range.
Exactly. We've been fasting since last night from 6:30 to now because we're looking at our blood sugar and we're saying, well, it needs to drop into optimal range before we eat. So mine finally dropped into optimal range at 6, and Minna, I think, is getting close.
It's just getting there.
So hopefully after the show, we'll actually get our first meal in today.
And we're not eating gluten-free.
Exactly. But we'll be right back after these messages. I am so looking forward to our guest today. We have never had a guest that does what he does, and I'm looking forward to a reading myself.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. We'll be right back after these messages.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being. From the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. Say goodbye to dullness and hello to youthful radiance. And guess what? For a limited time, you get a free cooling eye cream applicator with your purchase. It's time to unlock your inner glow with coolness. So what are you waiting for? Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
Imagine a life where every day is fueled by energy, vitality, and purpose. Where age is just a number and your best years are always ahead. Hi, I'm Andy Nam, certified functional nutrition longevity coach, best-selling author, and international speaker. After reversing my own chronic health struggles, I'm now on a mission to help you live longer, stronger, and of course to look younger. I combine biohacking, cutting-edge nutrition, and stem cell technology to unlock your body's full potential. So no matter where your starting point is, I'm going to guide you toward a chronically healthy life. Ready to reverse aging and take control of your future? Connect with me today. Your journey to longevity starts here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. I am so happy to introduce you to our guest today, Cable Jones. He is a highly sought-after empath and healer, renowned for his ability to help clients achieve life balance and unlock their highest potential. Working with a distinguished roster of professional athletes, musicians, and high-achieving individuals, Cable specializes in providing holistic support that enhances both personal and professional fulfillment. Guided by his faith, he has a remarkable gift for addressing complex illnesses and health challenges, aiding clients in overcoming obstacles to wellness and resilience. With a profound dedication to his craft, Cable's empathetic approach not only fosters healing, but empowers clients to thrive in all aspects of their lives. Welcome, 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 Cable.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Well, we're delighted that you're here today. And I'm just going to jump right in because our topic today is concussion. And you have one of the most interesting concussion stories that I've ever heard. Would you like to share your concussion story and how that happened for you?
Yeah, I actually was at a entrepreneur training back in Nashville and attended a violin concert by a well-known violinist, Lindsay Sterling. At her concert, it was in this big exhibit hall. So it wasn't in a concert hall, it was just an exhibit hall. And everyone in their seats were kind of moving back and forth like this. For the bass was like, so it wasn't loud to my ears. It was just like everyone's body was moving. And I loved the concert. But at the end of the evening, I went back to the hotel. I went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up and I felt like I was hit by a Mack truck. My brain, I was just like, I don't know what happened to me, but I couldn't like connect my memory. Like there was like no more memory in my head. And I immediately started texting my healing team members. And I said, I need help. I need help quick. My memory is not coming together very well. I can barely speak. I was literally like speaking at this rate.
Oh.
And so over the next couple of days, I was just like, this is really difficult. I can't bring together my thoughts. I'm definitely not speaking like I am now. And I quickly learned about this particular type of concussion. I call it a sound pumping concussion. The sound was pumping so much, and it was pushing everyone's body back. The brain inside of my head was literally like hitting the back of my skull, and that's essentially what caused this concussion. And it took me the next 3 months. I learned that if I had people ask me 2 questions on a telephone call, my clients would call me. It's like, you can ask me 1 question only. If they asked me 2 questions, I would trigger, and it would, as if it was the day after that concert, all the symptoms, major symptoms, would come back to me. And so I would jump on, and I would like, hey, you have 1 question you can ask me. And I felt like I didn't trigger back to full symptoms. And I was like, wow, that's what concussion people often heal up for years, like maybe a year or 2 years at home, and they go back to work, and then they trigger into full concussion symptoms. They're like, what happened? I thought I was totally better. But they do a routine that after you sustain a concussion for the next 30 days, your brain is hypersensitive to everything you're doing: sleeping, eating, brushing your teeth, walking, standing, all become part of the concussion. And so for the next so many years, or your entire life, you go, I have clients actually that go to sleep, and they're like, okay, well, when I wake up, it's like all my symptoms are back again. And then I go through the entire day, and then I go to sleep, and the next day, all my symptoms are back. It's like, I know, because sleeping is part of the routine that is stuck in that concussion you had. In my help, I help people start healing up these different routines they're doing so they can fully heal from all of their concussion symptoms, rather than just thinking they're totally better and then going to work, which they would have done after like a concussion, maybe within the 30-day, like, I can do this, but then they find that they can't. And then 2 years later, they try to do that routine again, and all the symptoms go back, and they're like, I don't know why that's happening. It's because they're doing their routine. I was helping this energy practitioner out of Arizona who went on vacation to Mexico and ended up slipping on a restaurant floor, hitting her head. And she went to the hospital. They checked her out. She ended up flying home. And then about 3 months, she called me. I'm like, Cable, I need help. She used to be able to see 6 clients a day. She was only seeing 1 client a day and then sleeping the rest of the day for the last 3 months. And she's like, this is not good. Can you help me with this one impact concussion to my head? And I helped her get through massive amounts of and healing up. But about 3 weeks after that, she called up like, Cable, for some reason, I know whenever I drive into work, I trigger into concussion. I can tell. So what's going on? I was like, well, which way did you fly home from vacation when you initially got your concussion? She's like, I flew from the east to the west. Which way do you go into work? I drive from the east to the west. That's the routine. We need to heal up that routine so you don't trigger.
So am I wrong? But I feel like the concussion is deeper than the physical. It seems to impact you like your whole entire energetic field and imprint somehow.
There could be many different levels inside the body, how it's affecting you. But the main concussion sequence, you get the concussion, then a large portion of what you do becomes part of that concussion. And then when you do those actions in your life ongoing, you find yourself triggering into that concussion over and over and over again. And you're like, why can't I heal this up? Well, in the action of doing that routine, it's the action, the routine, and then there's something that causes that routine to go awry, and you go back. It could be excessive shock, overwhelm. Once those are cleared out, it's hard to heal a concussion because people think the routine is something I need to change. It's like, no, it's something else that causes the routine to cause the brain to go back into its concussion cycle. Yeah.
Well, it seems so. Most people think a concussion comes from a major trauma, head trauma, but music at a concert, that bumping bass, actually, do you think there were other people at the concert who had concussion and maybe didn't know?
Actually, Lindsay Sterling herself contacted me 3 years later and said, Cable, for some reason I have some physical issues with my hands. Can you help me out? And I went back to the 2018 concert, and I was like, oh, all the instruments, all the violins, everything were not properly grounded in that concert. And I was able to go back and help her ground at that time in her life, which translated to 3 years later. She was like, wow, I'm feeling much better. So it was so interesting that I was at her concert, and then she called me like, I need help. And then I was able to go back and figure out what, and it, because being ungrounded during that concert, it actually caused some difficulties to her knees. And then 3 years later, I was able to go back and ground everything. And then her knee pain went away. And so it was so interesting. The very thing, I was there on purpose to help her later.
That's amazing. So this is fascinating to me how's the wrong word, but the way you connect.
You can get emotional concussion, too many emotions in a highly heated conflict. All of a sudden you can get emotionally concussed. The emotions are so impactful to your head that it does the same sort of impact that if you were hit in the head with a ball. Impact concussion. You also have torque concussion when you go around a really severe turn, like maybe on a roller coaster or in a car or in a bicycle, really high torque. You can get whiplash concussion. You can get pressure concussion. You can get force. I've had people like Cable. I was going through a small door, and I stood up and I hit my head on the top of the door, and it pushed me into my head into my spine. I call that a force concussion, and essentially additional pressure to the base of the skull causes this concussion. And so there's shock concussion. There's many different types of concussion. It's not just impact concussion that can cause something. Twisting concussion often happens to football players. They're hit multiple spaces and they go down in a very fast twist, and that causes concussion.
Does it always cause concussion, or just
it doesn't always cause concussion, but most of the time it does cause concussion. They say impact concussion can 95 gravities and 95 G's on the head, where like an F-15 fighter jet has 8 G's. So it's like 10 times higher than a very fast military jet, 95 G's. So not all the time do these things cause concussions. Depends on the person, but a large portion of these type of sequences in sports and at other times during the day in normal people's lives, concussion can occur.
Oh, I'm sure our audience is doing this too, but I'm going back through my life and thinking, did I have a concussion from this thing that I, so back to the emotional concussion. I'm wondering, I've been studying a lot about narcissistic abuse and the brain damage that the victim can suffer. Is that kind of like what you're talking about, the emotional concussion from being constantly,
yeah. In that moment, they can sustain the emotional concussion, and then for the next 30 days, they still have conflict, and they are trying to recover from said conflict, and they're brushing their teeth, they're eating food. That all becomes part of that sustained emotional concussion. And then they find as they do those actions the rest of their life, for some reason, they're like, man, I have brain fog. I don't know why that they're triggering back into these sequences. They're excessively angry. They might be excessively sleepy. They don't have an appetite. There's several different, and I can check into a concussion symptoms, and they're unique to the person. I can actually identify all the different symptoms that someone's getting from a concussion, and then start helping them recover from that concussion.
Wow. That I mean, most people, we don't really think about it as we go through our daily lives, unless it's a really like a severe car accident or something, then you might, but we just don't think these things that impact us all. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just flabbergasted here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pause here because everybody, we're going to be right back. But I want to tell you that in our second half, Cable is actually going to do a little of his magic on Andy. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. We are here with our guest, medical intuitive healer and high performance coach, Cable Jones. And Cable, I'm just going to let you loose on Andy. Do your thing.
Yeah. So, Andy, what do you want help with today?
Well, it's interesting because, you're talking about concussion, you're talking about impact, whiplash, and, and all that. And, many, many years ago, I had all that. Right. And in the last 13 years, I've been doing everything I can to not only heal my body. Right. But, for me, I'm a biohacker at heart. So I'm always trying to figure out what are the best ways to reverse damage, to heal damage. But, it's good to know what is still damage, right? You can only fix what you know. If you don't know, you can't fix, right? So when Kristy was telling me about you, I said, well, okay, it'll be sort of interesting to find out what do I still have that is, per se broken that I don't know about, right?
Yeah. So what I wanted to work on Andy, he's a special. There's he might be able to move energy faster because he's been concentrating on getting healthy, chronically healthy, really for many, many years. So as I'm asking Andy, he might move energy at a much faster rate than like somebody else I'm able to help. So I'm just wanting to see, is there any particular pains right now, or like stiffness or additional mobility issue that you currently have that we can work on right now?
Yeah, right now, it's funny. We were talking pre-show, in my accident back, oh my God, it's like back when I was 18. I bent my back, right? And it took many years with a lot of chiropractors and everything before I even figured that out. But I always have tenderness and tiredness in my lower back if I'm not actively doing something to relieve that pain. And it was funny because when we were talking earlier, you're talking about that, and it's like this morning I was just bending over, cleaning our kitty's litter box, and I had that sharp pain in my lower back. I was like, that's interesting. I haven't had that for a long time. So it is something, I'm very hypersensitive in what hurts in my body. And, and then I start to try to take action right away.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say a series of sentences. You'll listen, and I'll be able to feel what you're doing automatically. If what type of change I'm having you. Your L5 vertebrae needs to rotate on the spiritual level counterclockwise 1 revolution. It already has begun. You feel like shock coming out of your right knee and some shock coming out of the base of where your backside is releasing tension. You can tell me yes or no, but there's things automatically, and the diaphragm itself in the stomach is releasing pressure. There's like pressure releasing just by this spiritual rotation of your vertebrae.
It's interesting that the back pain does seem to lessen a little bit. It feels like I'm sitting on a hard chair, obviously, but
yeah, so
it's subtle.
It's subtle, yes, but things are changing. The right bottom rib cage is releasing pressure. The lower ribs are on the right side are releasing pressure, which will allow your liver, your gallbladder, those organs to function better when things are more in a relaxed position. You excessive inflammation in all of the discs in the lower back. Let that inflammation go.
Okay.
And I'm saying that to you. I'm essentially talking to your subconscious. Let inflammation go in your lower back. Take 3 or 4 deep breaths. Okay, L4 vertebrae just needs to rotate clockwise, just like 1 degree. Good. Now, awesome. Now, rotate your S1 vertebrae counterclockwise 1 degree. Good. And now I just want to rotate your tailbone just 10 degrees counterclockwise. And counterclockwise is whichever you think counterclockwise is sufficient for this demonstration. Good. You can tell your breath has gotten better than it was before we started working. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That I definitely noticed.
Yeah. And you can feel like there's a more like total straight of your whole spine is totally straight, where before there was some slight like undulations. If you were checking your back previously to now, there's a more straight alignment of all of your back bones.
Yep. It's interesting. It's interesting. It definitely feels less tense. Like, I don't know if I can tell if it's more straight, but I definitely feel less tension in my back.
Is there a certain amount of weight that you might lift, or something that's close by where you can put yourself under a weight lift, where you like, okay, I know I can lift this amount, but I'm going to try to lift something. Is there something close by where you could lift something and then feel a difference? Or
nothing heavy in my studio.
Okay. So, stiffness. Any additional stiffness anywhere in your back at this moment?
No, No, it's always been my lower back, in the in the hip area that,
Yeah.
if I get any stiffness, that's usually where it's centered around.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you don't have any stiffness in your hips right now?
The hips, no, but the lower back still has some.
Some stiffness. Okay, so
Yeah.
we need to thicken up the L5S1 vertebrae disc. It's a little thin and it needs to thicken up. So clear out allergy to synovial fluid in that disc. And I'm telling you, you're able to do that action. Everything I'm speaking to you, you're able to do pretty well because you've been concentrating on healing up so well. Somebody else may not be able to do this. So thicken it up a little bit more. Yeah, you're adding in more synovial fluid. This is good. That's good. Then S1, S2 vertebrae disc needs to thicken up just slightly with just a little bit more synovial fluid. Take another deep breath. Good. All the other discs have thickened up sufficiently. Clear out all shock from your sacrum and coccyx vertebrae. I feel pain releasing from the left side of your spine, lower back, low and backside area. So I know things are changing. You're releasing shock out of your big toe on your right foot. So that would be the liver meridian is releasing blockage. So I know you're getting better blood flow into your torso area. Take a few additional deep breaths. Your right diaphragm needs to turn on the right diaphragm. There's two sides of the diaphragm and nerves that go to those diaphragm, and your right diaphragm is not on. Turn that on. You can just like flip a switch if you want to view it that way. Now you're processing quite a bit of pressures releasing out of your right back area, lower back area. It's on the way out. So you're processing very fast. Continue to take deep breaths. And now turn your head to the left and just take a deep breath in. And then turn the right. Take a deep breath in. And just a little bit more stiffness. I can feel it's on its way out. Okay, did you sufficiently relax, or you still feel some stiffness?
The left side is relaxed a lot. I can really feel that. Like before, when we started, I can feel tension on both sides.
Yeah.
The left side, the left side, even like I'm stretching now, I don't actually feel it stretching. The right side, I still have some. Right. My glutes feel better, like it's almost feel like the cushion is a little bit thicker on my glutes, so it doesn't feel as hard on my seat. But yeah, the left side's relaxed a lot, definitely.
The right psoas muscle is torn about 10%. Reconnect your psoas muscle fibers. 10% of those are torn. Reconnect those now. And reconnect all tendons to muscles to bones or tendons. So reconnect all tendons to bones in your right side area. You're releasing, I feel shock coming out of your right pinky toe. So I know a pinky represents health. So that pain or shock releasing of the pinky toe, I know you're becoming healthier when I feel things coming out of the pinkies or the toes, pinky toes. So how's it right now? I can feel like just a tiny bit of hold on.
It's definitely better. It's definitely better, which is interesting.
Okay. So
this is interesting. This is interesting for sure.
Just reconnect additional muscles your superficial muscles on the right side. It's about 15% torn. Reconnect torn muscles, superficial muscles on the right side. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Now I want you to twist all the way to the right and take a deep breath in. Good. So you would twist from the waist around to the right side. Take another deep breath. Keep your legs straight forward. That might have done it. You come back and tell me if you've got a relaxed right side.
Better. Not 100%, but definitely better.
98%? 95%?
I would probably say 90%. 90%. I don't feel anything on my left side anymore now.
Okay. Okay. So we're just going to clear out additional inflammation from your kidneys, both of them. Just release additional inflammation from both kidneys. That is probably sufficient. You will continue to meta process. That means you'll continue to clear out the things that we started right now. Probably in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you'll probably be like, wow, I'm totally relaxed at this moment. How are we doing on time? I can continue to work, or you'll tell me the time.
Yeah, we got about 4 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, kidneys. I'm just going to let's turn on your emotional right lung is off. Let's turn on emotional level. There's a physical body, a mental body, emotional body, a spiritual body, and your emotional body right lung is off. Turn that on. That's improving your breath already, even better than it was in breath. And your inguinal canals on the inside base front of your body are now releasing tension and shock, which will allow your legs to start relaxing, which will allow that right side to further relax than you were relaxed up to this point. And you're releasing some out of the left side of your neck. Muscles are releasing as well. I felt pain release from there. So lungs are good, stomach, large intestines, diaphragm, respiratory system needs to be turned on. It helps you to breathe, but it also has its own respiratory system. That respiratory system needs to be turned on. Take one additional deep breath. And then absorb any additional air that is trapped inside the abdominal cavity, inside the torso area. Absorb any additional air on the outside of all of your organs. I'm totally relaxed down. So you stretch and tell me if you were at 95 or.
Yeah, it's probably around 95 now. It's like it just.
Yeah. You also have not eaten today because of sugar. Needed a drop. So you haven't had your dinner. Yeah. So there's a slight issue there that's causing you not to release as quickly. Release excessive insulin stored in your large intestine. Continue to release. You're doing well. Release inflammation plus insulin I'm just going to rub my hands. We're going to clear out insulin plus inflammation from your large intestine. And I'm just moving energy, helping Andy move energy here. That's all I have for today. You're still processing. Insulin is releasing.
No,
inflammation is releasing.
It's
You'll
like
get
sitting on
additional.
this chair is actually fairly comfortable.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, I just want to quickly ask you, how you're helping me channel these things and you're telling my body to do these things. Is this something that people can learn to do themselves, or is that always has to be channeled through you?
So as I continue to work with them, they start learning my skill set because I've a lot of repetition. So another title, I call myself a heal coach. So I'm coaching people on how to heal themselves. So with my help, after like 3 months of me helping them, they tend to like, Cable, I checked into this. I did that. And they start doing the same sort of processing that I do naturally. They learn the same process, and they're able to, at some point, they don't need my help anymore because they're doing all the different things that I do, and they can move on and concentrate on a constant basis. Space.
Well, this is amazing. I mean, I think we could go for hours on this, but Cable, can you share, how can we find you? How can people find you out in the world?
Yeah, they can go to my website, speaktocable.com. You schedule on that website, as well as going to Instagram. You can email me at realtimehealer@gmail.com. You can also, I have 2 Instagram pages, but mainly you go to speaktocable.com, and literally you get to speak with me, and then I can tell you the next step in your journey to health.
And folks, the QR code goes directly to his Calendly, so you can just set yourself up with an appointment. Well, thank you, Andy. You doing okay
thank you, Cable. I'm going to let you know how I feel tomorrow. I've been having this little issue after coming back from Vancouver. I'm not quite sure what it is, but maybe it was my lungs not activated. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Cable, and definitely you have to come back and see us again.
Yes,
okay,
for sure. Thanks, Cable.
That's good.
Okay, coming up next is Kids Corner. Stay tuned, everybody. Hey, everybody. Okay, we're continuing talking about summer travel with kids. The second thing after activities that you want to provide for your kids on a trip are snacks. It's really difficult to get anything decently healthy on the road. So here are some things that I have found that kids, they really like them, and they're easy to pack in your kids' backpacks. One, these are Simple Mills, a brand called Simple Mills. They have these almond flour crackers. They have all different flavors, and they come in these little snack pack sizes that you can pack in the backpack. 2, hydration. You can get bottles of water pretty available, or you might have a travel bottle, and you want to still use electrolytes because traveling is extremely dehydrating. This applies to you too, parents. 2 brands that I have found that are real easy are Cure, which they come in little packets, so that 1 packet for what goes in 1 bottle, and that makes it super easy. And the other one is Ultima, and they have these bags with all different flavored packets in them, and 1 packet per bottle, and then it's super easy to stay hydrated, and the kids don't feel deprived, like they're not getting something tasty. No sugar, no chemicals. That's what we want. And the third thing that I have found that tastes really good, and they're high protein snack bars, are Aloha bars. Tons of flavors, and readily available in pretty much everywhere, including on Amazon or Thrive Market, in stores. And they're high protein bars. They taste good. Your kids won't complain, and they'll feel like they're getting a treat. So, and you too, that'll keep your energy high while you're traveling. Ciao, everyone.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science, at longevity, at exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. So how was your experience?
It was interesting, to say the least, because like I said, I always had back issues because of my car accident so many years ago. And even, I still get adjusted, through my chiropractor because it tries to get back into the resting bent position. Right. And, like I said, in the last 13 years, been working on that. But now as we're talking, actually nothing hurts anymore, which is interesting.
That's
very
awesome.
Interesting. Right. And I would love to learn a little bit more how Cable does all that, seeing in his visual eye of the internal workings of the body as a biohacker. It's like, wow, we all really need to get a little bit more intuitive with our bodies to figure this out.
For sure. I mean, I think we all brought up to just trust the doctor, like the medical doctor.
Exactly.
Where I know firsthand that they don't do anything for me.
Well, exactly. So
they never fix anything for me. So there's always these alternative that should be mainstream.
Correct.
They just somehow we call them alternative because they got taken over by the medical industry.
Exactly. So I think for all our guests out there, definitely reach out to Cable because we really believe in holistic healing. We believe the body can heal itself. And to be able to, rotate your spine and fill up the synovial fluid between, the spine is like, that's not even something a doctor can say you can do. So to me, that was interesting. But all I can say is I'm feeling better. My butt feels like I'm sitting on a nice cushy cushion now, like not on something hard. So, definitely going to keep up with them. Let them know how I feel tomorrow.
Good. No more complaining about my chair.
No more complaints about your chair.
So who do we have next week?
So next week we have Sarah Carlson. And I think she's a financial coach. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's what she is. But join us here every Friday at 7 p.m. CST on e360tv.com in the Vitality TV network. Or if you want to watch past episodes, check out our YouTube channel at Chronically Healthy Life.
And of course, I have a new skincare line. It's at coolness.com. And you have a book.
Yes, download our book, Longevity is a new L-word.com. We're still doing it for free for now, for a little while longer. And of course, if there's any questions, schedule call me at anything at Chronically Healthy Life.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you all next week.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How do you feel, Cable?